YouTube, I think, and then we'll be able to start streaming. And we are on, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome this evening, this afternoon, I guess, wherever it is in the world you are sitting and watching from. Guys, listen, we are talking today about a critical event, a warning. I believe there's a critical event coming to the United Kingdom. I believe the government know about this. We are also going to explore the events that have been happening in the Middle East, guys, okay? So what do I mean by the Middle East? I mean the situation in Gaza. The Israelis looks like the Israelis are moving in, and it looks like they're having their final assault. Looks like the Israelis are starting, certainly, their final assault on Gaza City. And just as a caveat, guys, not even a caveat, just as a little pretense for this live stream, guys, okay? What do we think? And look, guys, I need to be quite clear. I think, I would have voted for Donald Trump. I would still vote for Donald Trump. And, I think he's kind of, I like Donald Trump. But I need to be quite clear, ladies and gentlemen. I need to be quite clear. Do we think the world is safer now than before Donald Trump took office? I don't know, guys. The jury is out on that one, guys. The jury is out. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. So just again, guys, just a quick update. The crux of this live stream is, I believe right now that there is a critical threat to the United Kingdom, guys, okay? Critical threat to the United Kingdom. And the government know about this. The government are planning for this, and they're trying to mitigating strategies. I can remember when I was in the military, I can talk about it. This is quite a while ago. I can remember in the military, a lot of the guys used to get sent back to backfill the police and go on policing operations in the United Kingdom. It was that packed. So I can only imagine how much of a workload, guys, I can only imagine how much of a workload there is for the security forces right now. And look, guys, it only takes one person to slip through the net. So, we did speak in depth, I guess, earlier on today about the situation, the critical threat coming to the United Kingdom. What I want to do now, guys, I want to give you guys just a quick, not overview, but I want to talk about the Middle East. But let me just get up, see if there's been any breaking news since the last 30, 40 minutes. Because like I said, guys, I have been running around. No, it does not look like there's been any more breaking news, guys. So I think I'm good. Yeah, the last update was from 2 hours ago. So the last update, guys, with the Middle East, Netanyahu says Israel will begin talks to free hostages and end the war. Oh, hang on. Give me a second, guys. Right, okay, so 4 minutes. No, that's them closing down. Right, so the last update, guys, the last update from the Middle East. And look, guys, if you want to know what an apocalypse looks like, go and look at what's happening in Gaza, guys. Go and look what's happening in Gaza. And before I get onto this, and, people want to say, oh, Sean, you shouldn't be this. Sean, you shouldn't be that. Look, guys, I understand every angle of this conflict in the Middle East. I understand it well. Do you know what, guys? I'm not going to say I understand every angle. If anyone says they understand the Middle East, they do not understand the Middle East. What I'm going to say is I can see different perspectives from this conflict that's going on, guys. So we certainly can't call it a war. What I will say before we go on, guys, what I will say, and this is kind of a brutal thing to say, you'll understand where I'm coming from, guys, okay? All wars should be avoided at all cost. There's no caveat to that. Literally, all wars should be avoided at all cost. If you're in a war, you should do everything necessary to win that war. That's the reality, guys, okay? All wars should be avoided, but if you're in a war, you should do everything you can to win a war. And you should, and that's why I'm going here, guys, okay? Now, the argument here, and I would see this argument, guys, it's a strong argument. Like, the coalition went into Afghanistan in, I guess, 2000, what was it, 2000 and 2001, I think the coalition went in there. They stayed there for 20 years. As soon as they left Afghanistan, Taliban back, things are worse than ever. So what was actually achieved? What was actually achieved? The problem with this is you can't fight a war woke. You can't be woke and fight wars, guys. It doesn't happen. It doesn't work. It never will happen. It never will work, all right? You cannot be woke and fight a war. You've got to go in there and you've got to make sure, if you want to minimize loss, you know, on your side, you've got to make sure the bad guys never want to come and attack you again. Anyway, guys, so let's just get into this, guys. Let's just get into this. So I want to focus on Israel's, I guess, recent attacks on Gaza City, what that means for the region, and particularly because what people don't understand is, well, I guess people do understand, what a lot of people, I guess, kind of miss the bigger picture. And the bigger picture in the Middle East right now, guys, the big picture is Iran. All right. So what I want to do, guys, okay, is focus on this conflict in the Middle East right now and how potentially, remember, guys, potentially speculating. This is for entertainment purposes only, and my opinion. So what I want to do is, guys, I want to talk a little bit about the situation in the Middle East, how Iran may respond, but then what I also want to do is I want to tie this in. I want to tie this into the United Kingdom and how we have in the United Kingdom a massive, what's the word, demographic of pro-Palestinian guys. Okay, we do. We have a lot of pro-Palestinian guys. They're waving the flag. Now, it's my belief that the reason that this did not, that the United Kingdom is not involved in the Middle East is because of that demographic. So I'm going to try and encompass as much of this as I can, guys. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, I guess we're on now. I guess we're on. You guys know what to expect. You guys know what to expect. Hopefully there'll be no more flies. I hope there's going to be no more flies, guys. No more of those flies, because I managed to clean out my fermenters. And just for context as well, I've put some, what have I done? I've got some lager, I've got some Merlot, and I've got some Pinot Grigio, all readily fermenting, guys, readily fermenting. Right, let's just get on with it, guys. Sorry, I'm waffling. So let's get started, guys, okay? I will put out questions to you guys, and I will be taking questions if you want any granular answers. So as of today, guys, what are we on? Are we on the 21st or something? Gaza is in the grip of an absolute humanitarian catastrophe. Nobody can deny that, guys. Nobody can deny that. The conflict between Israel and Hamas, I guess, or Hamas. Listen, guys, just a quick caveat. Did you guys know that in Arabic, Hamas means violence? I don't know. Maybe if you're going to call your organization violence, I don't know if the catfish wear it. So this was reignited after a brief ceasefire, and I think the ceasefire was January to March this year. It's taken a devastating toll. All right, some estimates are that 62,000 Palestinians have transcended to beams of light, guys. All right, and it's very difficult to get these numbers. Very difficult to get these numbers. That's the number I'm going with. If I'm wrong, I don't mean to mislead anyone, but that's where I'm going, guys. Okay, I'm going with 62,000 Palestinians transcended to a beam of light. These numbers are phenomenal, guys. Okay. So that's since October 2023, with nearly half of those, according to open source media, guys, okay, being women and children. 156,000 injured. The numbers, ladies and gentlemen, involved in this conflict are absolutely staggering. So you understand now. Look, guys, you understand now, if there are people in this country, and I don't know if they are or not, let me know in the comments. If there are people in this country who don't like people in Great Britain, don't like the West, don't like Western culture, don't like Western values, and they're on their phone watching all this carnage happen, what do you think they're going to do to, like, in fact, do you know what, guys? I'm not going to say that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask another question. How do you think they're going to react to British children? How do you think they're going to react to British women? How do you think they're going to react to people in the United Kingdom? Again, guys, look, we haven't got a hand in this conflict. But what I'm saying is, guys, people, I'm just trying to set the stage, guys. Talk about how critical warning of events coming in the United Kingdom and the conflict in the Middle East. Unfortunately, guys, they are, I believe they're interconnected. Like I said, guys, the numbers are staggering. The infrastructure in Gaza, it's crumbling. The infrastructure in Gaza is crumbling anyway. I mean, I'm pretty sure they don't generate any of their own electricity or energy. Lots of the agriculture, basically, guys. All right. This is an apocalyptic scene right now. That region of the world, it is an apocalyptic scene, guys. Okay, it's not just a military conflict; it's a humanitarian disaster. The United Nations and international community they're all sounding alarms, calling for an immediate ceasefire, unrestricted aid access. Hamas has accepted a 60-day truce proposal. Look, guys, and people always accept a truce proposal when they're on the back foot. And look, guys, whether you agree with it or not, I genuinely don't know. Whether you agree with it or not, this is the way the Israelis are dealing with this conflict. Right, let me, I'll just go over to YouTube, guys, okay? I'm going to jump over to YouTube, okay? Lord of Langwith is saying Israel are only doing what the Empire did with the naval blockade, starving Germany at the end of the war quickly. World War II Germany beat that bad. They're only thinking about getting back as a serious army. Yeah. Look, guys, and again, I said this right at the beginning. Lord of Langwith, I believe you may have some military experience. Wars should be avoided at all costs. At all costs, like literally at all costs, wars should be avoided. If you're in a war, you should do everything necessary to win that war and make sure you don't have to have that war again. It's just the way it goes, guys. It's just the way it goes, and you have to do. These are things that you have to do. So while people are saying, and rightly so, oh, this is disgusting. Oh, this is horrific. Yes, it is. It is. But if you're in a war, guys, what do? Do you want to win a war? Do you want to lose a war? Or do you want to win a war wokely? You cannot win wars being woke, guys. It doesn't happen. It never happens. It will never happen. Right. Wow. The chat's gone crazy on YouTube, TikTok. Bumblebee is saying, hi, Raven. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Unknown user is saying, anyone think World War III is coming? I do indeed. Time to Rise is saying, they are out to put us all in the pit. Zoe Survival Forest. Hello, Zoe Survival Forest. He's saying World War III is coming, and then she's saying USA versus Venezuela. It wouldn't be much. It would be a bit of a mismatch. The USA versus Venezuela. Maybe the US Marine Corps versus Venezuela. That would be a more evenly matched. That would be a more evenly matched scrap. But even at that, guys, the US Marine Corps, I think they'd walk through, Venezuela. Remember, Venezuela have a lot of oil. Anyway, guys. So I want to talk about Iran now, guys, because what a lot of people don't understand is Iran is the puppet. Okay, I've got to be careful while I'm on TikTok. Did you know what? Should I be careful while I'm on TikTok, or should I just go until I get banned? Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if we are, listen, guys, if I go dark on TikTok, guys, all right, I'm triple streaming today. I'm on TikTok, I'm on YouTube, and I'm streaming simultaneously on X. So if the TikTok goes dark, it's because I've said something wrong and I'm banned, and I'll be banned for another week. So just go over to YouTube, guys, okay? Go over to YouTube if I get banned. Sergeant Gunnery is saying, let rip, Sean, let rip. Louise is saying, the Deagle report, look at the population by 20. What is the deal? I don't know what the Deagle report is. I've heard it. I can't. That's outside of my media faculties. Unknown user on TikTok is saying, Raven, heard migrants will continue to come as if NATO go to war. Migrants will help us. Is it true? I don't know if it's true. It's certainly an argument. There's certainly a direction for that. And there's certainly I believe there's certainly a direction of travel for citizenship for service. I also think we'd see a lot of people going over the other side of the boat. You know, all these migrants, I think they'd be back down to Dover and say, no, get me on the boat back to France. Anyway, guys, listen. So Iran. The Middle East is all right now, guys. Iran is the biggest. They're the player in the Middle East, guys. Okay, they're like the puppet master. So Iran, guys, has been a major backer of Hamas, providing financial, military, intelligence, all sorts of support, right? Including rockets, training, especially since their relationship strengthened after, I would say, 2017. The Gaza conflict is deeply tied to the Iranian border. Now, look, guys, without really going into this, it's all about oil and it's all about trade routes. In short, guys, and I know I'm leaving this really short, and I know there's lots of caveats to this, but in short, Iran needs to keep control of the Suez Canal, of the Strait of Hormuz. Sorry, if Iran loses the Strait of Hormuz, Iran loses all its influence in that region. Now, there's a competing trade route, and it's a land corridor through Saudi Arabia, through Jordan, through Israel, into the Mediterranean. And literally, guys, before these attacks on Israel, that was almost had the green light. But now Israel's fighting a war, and that trade route's being stopped. So earlier this year, guys, as you know, earlier this year, guys, as you guys know, Israel launched a surprise attack on Iran's nuclear facility and military facilities. And I think they call this Operation Rising Lion. For those of you who don't know, the old Iranian flag used to have a lion on it. So that's why I think they want a regime change whereby Rising Lion, they want the Lion of Iran to raise. They want the old faculties back in charge in Iran. Now, this was targeting the the nuclear sites. The main one there was the Fordow nuclear site. As you guys know, the United States moved in. They did their bunker busters. And look, guys, I'm not sending anything negative on the United States. I'm not convinced of the lethality of that, those bunker busters. Nevertheless, Iran vowed to continue their nuclear enrichment program, and the United States, as from November 2020, I want to say 2023. I think it is 2023. As from November 2023, the United States have passed it in law that they will do everything necessary to stop Iran getting a nuclear weapon. So this powder keg is still there, guys, okay? This powder keg is still there. However, even though these airstrikes went into Iran, Iran's capacity to respond is absolutely constrained, guys. It really is restricted. The June airstrikes damaged their air defenses, their military structure, and their nuclear program was definitely set back, guys. 100% that was set back. I'm not convinced it was destroyed or stopped, but certainly, certainly set back. Where am I? Right, guys, there's lots of questions jumping up. Iran may also choose to respond to this, guys, because the Iranians said they're going to respond to these airstrikes. Iran may respond with a more restrained response. Like, for example, this is where we're going, guys, okay? Increasing funding for weapons for Hamas, increasing training for Hamas, soft warfare, asymmetric warfare. Ladies and gentlemen, and I'm talking about the T word. You know the T word that ends in ist, the T-ist word? I think all these things are connected. So when we talk about critical warnings to the United Kingdom, guys, I do think this conflict in the Middle East, it is going to spill out into the United Kingdom. And again, that's why I think the United Kingdom, and I've said this many times, guys, okay, where there's that diversion. That's why I think the United Kingdom do not get involved with this. United Kingdom, don't worry, they're going to be heavily involved in Eastern Europe with the Russians. So, guys, listen, Iran's likely response then, guys, all right? So I just want to talk real quick about Iran's likely response because it's all about Iran at the moment. So a mix of proxy war, escalation, grey warfare, through Hamas, through sleeper cells, a lot of fiery rhetoric saying we're going to do stuff. But the reality is, that militarily, the Iranians, they don't have the capacity that they certainly, they talk a good game, but they can't deliver a good game. That's what I'm talking about, okay? I think a direct, large-scale war is less likely, which makes it more scary for everyday civilians, guys. Because if a direct war is unlikely, that means that the likely target are civilians. That means the likely targets are normal, everyday people who are soft targets. So that's kind of I guess, a synopsis. And I know I've been like jumping through there, guys, and I've tried to cover a lot of stuff. But anyway, guys, so it's like a regional game of 4D chess, guys. Okay, it's like a regional game of 4D chess. Right, I'm just going to jump up and get some comments, guys. Right, unknown user is questioning to everyone. Jody Lee is saying, did you see Donald Trump recent post about Ukraine and Russia? No, I didn't. Look, guys, I've been literally like running around like since I did the live stream earlier on. I've literally been like running around. Kids uniforms, this shop doesn't have that shirt, so you've got to go somewhere else. Yeah, we're out of those cardigans, we're out of those ties. So it's been an absolute nightmare for me today, guys. All right. So I've literally not seen anything of the news if it's like in the last couple of hours. Hope Along Bob is saying, is Trump's comment green light for Ukraine's offensive into Moscow? Right, I'm going to have to Google this, guys. I'm going to have to Google this. Give me a second. Is this what we're talking about? Trump attacks Biden for not letting Ukraine fight back. Well, I think that's fair. Okay, guys. So, right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I think we may be on for a little bit longer this evening. So, right, guys, I'm just gonna Right, guys, I'll give you this now. And then I will continue the Middle East. And then we will jump at the end of this, guys. We'll talk about the Ukraine conflict. So, guys, listen, a little bit of breaking news from the... Am I gone? I think I'm gone on TikTok. I'm gone on deleting TikToks. Am I back, guys? Listen, guys, I don't know if my streaming's work or not. Right, I think I'm back. Okay. So, breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news. Ukraine war latest. Trump attacks Biden for not letting Ukraine fight back. I think that's fair. Donald Trump has said Ukraine has no chance of winning the war because of mistakes by Joe Biden. Yeah. So just for context, guys. All right. Just for context. The Ukrainians were given weapons, but they were told they were not allowed to strike inside Russia. It's absurd, guys. All right. So what you was having this scenario where the Russians could bring tanks, guns, munitions, everything right up to the border because they knew that they couldn't be attacked. How absurd is that? Look, guys, like I said at the beginning of this live stream, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. All wars should be avoided at all costs. Believe me, guys, okay? All wars should be avoided at all costs. But if you're in a war, you should do everything to win that war. That's the reality, guys, all right? Literally, I don't know if there's a caveat. Like, I don't know, maybe there's a woke caveat. We should avoid war at all costs. And then we should only win the war, and then we should avoid war at all costs, but we should only win a war if it's acceptable to the other side. What does that even mean? What does that even mean, guys? What does that even mean? I don't know. But yeah, right, guys. So we are going to come on to that later on. Hope Along Bog is set. Bob is saying Flamingo missile. Google it. Yeah, so the Flamingo missile is a Ukrainian-built system, and it's there to replace the Storm Shadow. It's an air-launched. It's an air-launched. It's an air-launched missile, guys. Okay, it's a cruise missile, basically. Right, let me continue, guys. Let me continue about the Middle East. Right, let me just. UK veterans. Hang on, let me pin this. Oh no! I almost muted you then. UK veterans is saying. UK veterans is saying, Sean, my sources say Trump will have an opportunity to pass X before the end of the year. What that X? So UK veterans, that X thing, that emoji, it's pixelated. I can't see it. Right, guys, let me continue about the Middle East. Okay, let me continue about the Middle East. Excuse me. Where are we going to go? Where are we going? Right. Okay. So why do we think Israel is targeting Gaza City, and specifically now? Why do we think that, guys? Why do we think Israel? Why do we think Israel is attacked? Why do we think the Israelis are targeting Gaza City now? So, in my opinion, guys, in my humblest opinion, I believe Israel's focus on Gaza City, particular, it's strategic, right? The IDF, so the Israeli Defense Force, claims Hamas has rebuilt some of its command structure in Gaza, including tunnels and weapons caches. Gaza City is also, it's like a symbolic and logistical hub for Hamas. So controlling it would absolutely weaken Hamas. And look, ladies and gentlemen, all right, the Israelis are making sure, I believe, that Hamas will never attack them again. That's what I believe they're doing, guys. All right. Now, people are arguing it's also about projecting strength after setbacks in the ceasefire talks and regional pressure. So it's a really complicated situation, guys. Okay. Now, what can Iran actually do right now, guys? All right, because I do want to. When we talk about the Middle East and we talk about we talk about Israel, we talk about Palestine or Gaza, the Gaza Strip. You cannot not mention Iran, guys. All right, you have to bring Iran into this because they are, in my opinion, anyway. My opinion is speculation analysis, and of course, this video is for entertainment purposes. While we're on TikTok, anyway. The Iranians are like the puppet master in that region, guys. Okay. Now, the Iranian military took a massive hit in June. Massive hit, guys. There's no denying it. They took a massive hit. Not only did they take a massive hit, they took a massive hit, but they were impotent to defend against it. Absolutely could not do anything against those US stealth bombers. And people were saying, a lot of people were saying that it was embarrassing. A lot of people were saying that it was embarrassing when Donald Trump flew the stealth bombers over Putin. I thought that was the biggest flex ever. I mean, subconsciously, DT is saying to Putin, yeah, you're over here for tea. You're over here for tea. We're going to have some cakes. We're going to have a little talk. But don't forget, I can send these bad boys and take out any target anywhere in the world anytime I want. And that's kind of a massive flex, guys. It's a massive flex. Anyway, guys, so like I said, the Iranians took a massive hit in June. Key commanders, scientists, doctors, engineers, architects, they were all taken out, guys. They were all taken out. The Iranian air defenses were massively destroyed, massively taken out, so they're not in a great position for a direct conflict. But you've got to understand that, you've got to understand that mentality around that part. Guys, listen, I'll jump onto the YouTube comments in a minute. I can see the comments are going crackers. Okay, guys. So you've got to understand the mentality well, not the mentality, the culture, I guess, the culture in that part of the world, all right? So even though the Iranians are not in any position for a direct conflict with, like, I don't know, like maybe the Iranians would struggle right now against Luxembourg, guys. Trust me, the Iranians would struggle against Luxembourg right now. However, grey warfare, asymmetric warfare, non-conventional warfare, soft warfare, cyber attacks, sabotage, all these things are real tools that the Iranians right now can do. And remember, guys, I believe we have cells in the United Kingdom that are asleep right now. And at some point, they are going to be activated. Right, I'm just going to jump over and get these comments on YouTube, guys, okay? Kalaz, the Kalaz info warrior is saying Egypt could save all the women and children in Gaza by just opening their Rafah crossing. Egypt must be held accountable. I agree 100%, the Kalaz info warrior. What I would say to you is, why don't the Egyptians want the Palestinians on their land? I don't know. Maybe the Egyptians are like, yeah, you know what? I don't care what's happening to you Palestinians. Maybe the Egyptians just don't want them in their country. Listen, guys, it's only a matter of time before they end up in the United Kingdom. It really is. It's only a matter of time. Ahmad Norman's trying to join my live. Ahmad, if you want to join the live stream, mate, I say this all the time. Send me a message. We'll identify a time and a date and a place that suits you, and we'll do this together, guys. All right. So sorry, Ahmad, I had to decline your request. Emma Riley is saying, "What's this Home Office prepared for mass fatality? Seeing it on Birmingham Live." Yeah, okay. So look, guys, I've given you guys a quick update on what's happening in the Middle East there. If there's any granular questions, please throw them up, guys, and I will try and answer them. I do want to focus a little bit now on is that Emma right? Emma Reilly? Am I saying that right? I hope I'm not destroying her name. Emma Reilly, or I think maybe Emma Riley is saying, what's this Home Office prepare for mass casualties? Well, I'm on TikTok, guys. I'm just going to call it mass casualties. So, yeah, we've spoke about this earlier on the live stream, earlier on today, guys. All right, lots of people have been sharing this, all right? Lots of people have been sharing this online. I was one of them. If you guys have been following my channels, I always say, guys, that all the information is out there. All the information is out there. You just need to know where to look. And one of the things I quite often say, is don't look what people are saying, look where they're putting their money. Now, the example I give of this is like, coming up to the 6 weeks holidays, all right? The kids are being absolute nightmares. They are. They've just been little nightmares. So you say to them, yep, right, you two, guess what? You've been so naughty, the camping trip this year is cancelled. And they're like, oh, no, that's terrible. The camping trip's been cancelled. But they see me coming back from like Sports Direct with sleeping bags. They see me coming back from Go Outdoors with a new tent. They see me coming back from Decathlon with like new shoes for everyone. What do you think's really happening there, guys? What do you think's really happening? That's like in the micro. So now on the macro, when the politicians are saying, we're safe, we're all safe, our security services are protecting us, we're well protected, everything's fine, everything's fine, everything's rosy and clean and beautiful, and diversity is our strength, arm in arm, kumbaya. Like, when the politicians are saying that, but they're spending millions on preparing for a mass casualty event, what do you think is happening? What do you think is really happening behind the scenes, guys? What do you think is really happening behind the scenes? Listen, Japri Look, guys, Japri has just come up on TikTok and she said, hello, any Englishman want an Indian girlfriend? So I think she's single there, guys. I don't want to put it out as a dating channel, but listen, guys, hats off to Japri. If there's any single Englishman out there, you know, Japri, you know, hit her up. I don't know. I don't know that she over on TikTok. Japri is saying, I'm just pinned this comment, guys. I'm just reading it. Japri's throwing herself out there and saying, hello, any Englishman want an Indian girlfriend? I don't know if she's offering herself or she's just like making a declaratory statement. I don't know where that's going, guys, but you know, I don't know if there's any single dudes out there, and you know, it's totally up to you. I'm just going to leave that there, guys. I don't want to turn my channel into a dating channel, which it is not, which it certainly is not. But listen, yeah, I just thought I'd throw Japri out there. Awesome Fire is saying it's a scam. Googly is saying no thanks, Japri. I like aliens. And Louise is saying how embarrassing for her. Guys, listen, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot put a price on love. It's all we have sometimes, ladies and gentlemen. We have to dig deep. We have to find love. Sometimes we have to fight for love. You know, Arnold Schwarzenegger fought for love at the end of Commando. Sorry, guys, I'm totally going off on a tangent here, aren't I? Right, I want to come back to this breaking news about Donald Trump, guys, all right? So we did start this live stream, and we started this live stream, guys, and we were talking about critical events coming to the United Kingdom, talking about the Middle East, and how, you know, everybody's focusing on certain things now in the Middle East, but the real, the elephant in the room in the Middle East, guys, is Iran. So we've got some breaking news right now, guys, from, I'll just read it to you. This is from like a couple of minutes ago, I believe. Yeah, 10 minutes ago, guys. So give me a second. So breaking news from Ukraine, guys, okay? Trump attacks Biden for not letting Ukraine fight back. Donald Trump has said Ukraine has no chance of winning. I agree. The war because of mistakes by Joe Biden. Meanwhile, Russia's foreign minister, Sergei Lavrov, has criticized Ukraine's European allies. So look, guys, does it to me look like we are heading to a crescendo where the Ukraine conflict just goes wild, the Middle East goes wild, the United States send their ships to Venezuela, and then at some point in Halloween the aliens come? Like, really, guys? Honestly, I think we're heading down that road. So 11 minutes ago, ladies and gentlemen, 11 minutes ago, man sanctioned by Russia finds out when Sky News called him. Yeah, I'm not interested in that. Lithuania to court. Okay, so Lithuania are closing their airspace on their border with Belarus. Remember, guys, okay, the Lithuania border, excuse me, the Lithuanians, they could see an incursion through the Suwalki corridor. Nord Stream investigations, analysis. Yeah, there we go, guys. There we go. Right. So look, guys, can you remember, you know, the day, I think Monday morning, ladies and gentlemen, when this, you know, when these peace talks were going in, and look, guys, I've been quite clear with you guys, all right? There's going to be no peace talks, no peace negotiations. Nothing is on the cards. Absolutely nothing is on the cards, guys, until the, you know, until the Russians manage to make it up to the River Dnipro. Nothing. It's not going to happen. There's nothing there. You can't do anything, guys. You've got to think tactically. You've got to think strategically, guys, okay? So I made a video Monday morning, and I said exactly what would happen about these peace talks. Now, an hour ago, it does seem that the mainstream media have caught up with what I said. So the mainstream media now have said what I said before the meeting, 4 days after the meeting. All right. So I'm just going to read you this, guys. This is the headline. Nothing has changed. Talks on ending the war in Ukraine are going nowhere. I told you this, guys, and they can't go anywhere. Like, strategically, they can't go anywhere. A NATO-style mutual defense guarantee for Ukraine provided by the US and agreed to by Vladimir Putin. That was supposedly the concession won by Donald Trump during his summit with the Russian president in Alaska. On Sunday, US Special Envoy Steve Witkoff described the apparent breakthrough as game-changing, but it seems maybe too good to be true because judging by the comments from Moscow since then, nothing has changed whatsoever. Yesterday, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov described the current discussions about future security guarantees for Ukraine as a road to nowhere. Today, he called them hopeless. And he's right. He's right. Everybody's right in this. Like, look, guys, as much as I hate to say this, they need to fight it out. They literally need to fight it out. There's literally no easy solutions here, guys. And like right at the beginning of this, live stream, guys, I said all wars, all of them. There is no caveat to this. All wars should be avoided. If you're in a war, you should do everything you can to win. I don't think that's controversial, but when you think about it, you can't win a war by being woke. You can't win a war. You can't win a war at the opponent's, at the opponent's leisure. You can't fight a war with somebody and say, "Is it okay if I win you now?" Yes, good sir. It'd be quite all right if you did your final assault now. Thank you very much, good sir. It doesn't work like that, guys. They're dark, they're dirty, there shouldn't be a thing, but it is a thing. If you're in one, guys, you really need to, you kind of need to. Well, I don't know, guys. If you're in a war, do you want to be the winner or do you want to be the loser? Or do you want to be equal? Or should we just all be equal? We'll all be equal. Right, I'm gonna get the comments on TikTok. Paolo is just jumping up there and saying, love Trump. Google it is saying, Labour has failed to convince the public. West Streeting agrees. Jody Lee is saying, tomorrow is Friday. Everything happens on a Friday. It does. Paolo is saying, I'm off to a hotel protest in Stockport tomorrow, Bredbury Hall. Saddlers is saying, new contracts for storage facilities. Yeah, we spoke about that this morning. Mikey is saying too many people in power, especially mayors who are migrants and can't speak English. Yeah. So, like, isn't it fantastic? Isn't it fantastic and beautiful and colourful that we have a lot of mayors in this country who don't speak English? I think that's fantastic, guys. I really do. I think it's fantastic. I welcome it. I embrace it. And you know what? I don't think anybody in England, I think we should, I don't think anyone in England should speak English. Why are we speaking English anyway? Why don't we all just communicate through the medium of expressive dance? No, I totally agree with you there, Mikey. It's embarrassing that we have, people in power in the United Kingdom who don't speak English. And again, look, guys, I totally get it, right? When I go to other countries, I always try to learn the language. I learn the cultures. I respect the cultures. And I try to assimilate into that culture. I wouldn't have the audacity, even with my limited Russian and Ukrainian language. I wouldn't have the audacity to try and run for a position of power in another country that I wasn't fluent in their language. How do you understand those intricacies? How do you understand, I don't know, if somebody from, country X, or let's just call it country X, they came here as a migrant, how do they know what it's like for John and Jenny who live at number 47? How do they know the history? How can they relate to the community? Mikey is saying probably won't be speaking English in a few years at this rate. Louise Javed is saying, what's this funding for large tents for mass fatalities? Yeah, okay, right. Okay, Louise. Right, wow. Right, hang on. Trying to get Louise's comment here. There we are. Sorry, Louise. Comments go up and down relatively quickly. Right. Okay. So Louise Javid is saying, what is this? And look, guys, I'm going to have to use a little bit of code here because I am on TikTok for the next 10 minutes and then I'll be jumping over to YouTube. So Louise Javid is saying, what is this funding for large tents look, guys, we all know what it is. We all know what it is. The government are spending money now on planning for an incident where we have that many fatalities, it's overwhelmed the hospitals. That's the reality. That's the reality, guys. All right. That is the reality. So, like I always say, don't look what people are saying. Look where they are putting their money. So, Louise, I hope I'm answering your question here. So, Louise, if I'm not answering your question right, please ask me to be more granular about any specifics. Okay. So, the United Kingdom have set out a contract and they're funding storage facility, mass storage facility for casualties. The casualties that don't need further medical attention, if you guys know what I'm talking about. Now, what you've got to consider is some people were saying when we were talking about this on the live stream earlier, excuse me, some people were saying, oh, but Sean, shouldn't they be planning for thousands? 700 isn't, and I'm like, look, okay, stop. What you got to understand is this would be 700 extra people. And I don't know where 700s come from. Surely you'd go for 1,000. So this would be 700 extra people. You would need to store the casualties. So 700 extra people once the hotels, once the hospitals are full. So you can kind of imagine how big this event is that they're planning for. Now, now they're the casualties that don't need any further. They're the casualties that don't need any further medical assistance, guys. Okay. Now, in combat, I know this because I know the statistics. In the statistics, you have. In the statistics from Afghanistan and Iraq, it's very hard to, depending on where you go, it'll be slightly different, but more or less for every one person, so for every one person that has transcended to a beam of light, you get 7 people with life-changing injuries, missing an arm, missing a leg, some missing an eye. So now you start to see the actual mass event that they're planning for, guys. Okay, do you see where I'm going with that? So even though the number, it sounds big, but then it doesn't sound that big. What you've got to understand is the outside measures to that, guys. All right, and it's huge. It's huge. It's terrifying. Like I said, guys. All right, like I always say, and I've said it so many times. Don't look what people are saying. Don't look what the politicians are saying, because most of them don't know anyway, guys. Most of them don't know anyway. Let's be fair. Look where they're spending their money. Look what that money is going into, guys. All right. So, and who was that? Louise. I think her name was Louise. Louise, I hope I've answered that question for you. Like I said, if there's anybody wants me to get any more granular, if anybody wants me to get any more granular with that, please let me know. Right, ladies and gentlemen, the crux of, I've not done it yet, have I? I've not done it. Guys, listen, can you like, comment, subscribe? If you're watching this, can you hit those like buttons, the follow button, the share button? Listen, guys, if you've subscribed, I think I'm 85% of getting you something tomorrow. I'm still working on it now. It's literally on that screen there. I'm still working out for you guys. I want to give it to you tomorrow. I think it's going to happen. There's still a 15% chance it may not happen. Hang on. Cole is saying, can I get more granular on that, please? Right, Cole, can you ask me the specific question to get... Cole, can you ask me like a specific question? Because I was talking about okay. So Cole is saying, can you get more granular on that, please? So on what exactly? So Cole, can you ask me what to get more granular on, please? I do apologize. I was talking about quite a few things then, and I don't know what the granulations you wanted. What type of mass event do you think this will be? Oh, honestly, well, there are so many different mass events it could be. I think the worrying one for everyone is what we spoke about earlier. And Cole, I don't know if you've done so or not, but earlier on, I did a live stream, and all our live streams now are recorded, and that you can get that on YouTube. But earlier on in the live stream, I was talking about, and I think this is the scary one for everyone. The one that everyone should be more vigilant about is the potential for an attack on schools. Now, you've got to think about this contextually, guys. Look at all the stuff that's happening in the Middle East. Look at all the, look at all the, like we just said earlier, the amount of human loss in the Middle East, guys. It's unbelievable. So there will be people right now in the United Kingdom who will be watching this, and they'll be thinking, we don't like this. There'll be people in the United Kingdom who do not agree with Western culture. So what I think is, if you think about this now, the hotels right now are vulnerable points, guys. They're vulnerable points. You know where they are. People are off school. People are off work. It's easy to get to those hotels. Do you know what happens when the kids go back to school? Those schools are vulnerable locations. You've got all the kids there are going to put up. No, guys, look, and I can't even believe I'm saying this. I genuinely can't believe I'm saying this. Those schools, where those schools are. You can walk up to those schools. They don't have security. I think we've reached a critical mass now online. We've reached a critical mass. Online of people worried about this. There are lots of letters online. People taking not screenshots. People taking pictures of letters and putting them online where teachers, just say this to yourselves, guys. Say this to yourselves, all right? Teachers are sending letters out saying, do not approach migrants when you leave school. Just say that to yourselves, guys. Tell me that's normal. Tell me that's normal. We was on the live stream earlier on today, and we just found a video, and the video was like, maybe she's the head teacher, I don't know. This woman came out of a school and she's shouting at these migrants and she's saying, go away, this is a school, you shouldn't be here, go away. But ultimately, guys, like, they're not breaking the law. Until they break the law, they're not breaking the law. So they can stand outside school as much as they want. They can take pictures of your kids. They can take pictures of you. They're not breaking any laws. Do you see how absurd it is? And look, guys, what I will say is, just because you're not breaking the law doesn't mean it's not wrong. And there's a flip side of that coin as well. There is a flip side of that coin. So I hope I've answered that question for you. Carlos, I think. Whoever asked that question, I hope I've answered it for you. Right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, guys, I'm going to close this down now on TikTok. I'm going to close it down on TikTok in a couple of minutes. And then I'm going to jump over to YouTube, guys. All right. So if you want to follow the conversation, if you want to continue the conversation, I'll be a little bit more candid over on YouTube, where I can open up a little bit more and say more words. Oh, Paulie here is saying it's reconnaissance. So maybe those people standing outside schools, they're not, they're taking pictures for a reason. They're planning something. Maybe they are. I know that, the guy who was planning the copycat attack in Wales, I think it was. He had pictures on his phone of a local girls' dance group. This is all open source media, guys. So again, another question for you guys, just before we tap out. What do we think, guys? Do we think that there's anybody else in the United Kingdom right now planning some sort of badness? Do we think there's anybody else in the United Kingdom planning some sort of badness? I don't know. Maybe we've caught everybody. Maybe everybody in these. I'm not going to speculate, guys. I'll leave that for YouTube. Right, ladies and gentlemen, listen. Oh, hang on. Right, Lord of Langwith is right. Okay, I'm just going to put this up because it is relevant, guys. Okay. Lord of Langwith is saying, I've said it for years, schools are a soft target. Yes, police won't respond with armed response straight away. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do a live stream on this tomorrow. Yesterday evening, we talked. Was it yesterday evening? Yesterday evening, we talked about what you guys should do if you find yourself in that active smoother. If you're in an active smoother scenario whereby somebody's doing something with one of those long things that stuff comes out at the end, how to react. What I'm going to do tomorrow, maybe tomorrow morning, I'm going to talk about how I want you to react if you get that message on your phone and it says your child's school is in lockdown. All right, guys, I'm going to talk about that. I may just do that as a YouTube exclusive, because what I will be saying tomorrow will be against all the police guidelines. It will, guys. It'll be against all the police guidelines. But look, ladies and gentlemen, all right, I'm like, I'm at a stage in my career now where I can argue didactics with these people. And if any subject matter expert wants to call me out, any subject matter expert wants to call me out on what I'm going to say tomorrow, please, I would welcome it. All right. So I'm going to do a live stream tomorrow, how to react if you get that message on your phone. If you get that message on your phone, your child's school is in lockdown. What you should do, guys, all right? Because Lord of Langwith came up with a real point there, a real point. And he said, I'll read you the comment. I'll tell you the thing he said. No, where's it gone? Said it for years, schools are a soft target. The police armed response won't be there for a long time. And that is 100% true, guys. That is 100% true. It's going to take them a long time to get there. So I'm going to talk tomorrow about what I would, do you know what? I'm not going to say what you should do. I'm going to say what I would do. I think that'll be a better way of framing it. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to jump over to YouTube now. I am the Real Raven 1 on YouTube. I'm the Real Raven 1 on X, and they're the only platforms we've got also as TikTok. Right, guys, I'm going to close this down now. And guys, Bright Eyes is turn around. Right, Bright Eyes is saying what time tomorrow? I'll try and be on tomorrow at 8. If I'm not on at 8, don't worry. All the videos that I do, they're all uploaded to YouTube, guys. Okay, they're all uploaded to YouTube. So if you miss the back end of the video, it doesn't really matter, because all these videos get uploaded to YouTube anyway. So you can always go and catch up on YouTube. Right, guys, I'm the Real Raven 1 on TikTok. I'm the Real Raven 1 on X and on YouTube. So if you want to jump over there, guys, I will continue this conversation over there. No, I'm the Real Raven 1 on YouTube. What YouTube channel can I go? Real Raven 1, that's what I'm on. Right, guys, I'm going to close this down now, and I'll see you later. If I can. Sometimes it doesn't close down straight away. Yes, I think we're good. Right, ladies and gentlemen, that was a really, when I think it was Lord of Langwith said that, how do you react? You can imagine, can't you? It's like the worst case scenario. You get the text message to your phone. Do not worry. Your child's school is in lockdown. Please stay away. Yeah, right. Right, let me jump up. In fact, guys, let me just jump off screen. I'm going to have a little, I'm just going to have a little drink, and I'll come right back. Can you guys just wait there a second? Just wait there a second, and I will be back. Oh, I've got a glass of my mum's rosé wine. I hope you do. Yeah, I've got a glass of my mum's rosé wine. I hope she doesn't notice. Right. So, D Marie Gen X is saying, WTF do we do? It's wild. I fear for our kids. I've got 4 school going, 2 in secondary who did lockdown. Look, guys, it's like, look, ladies and gentlemen, right? We have kids ourselves, you know. It's unbelievable. I don't know. Like, what happened in the last 10, 15 years? What happened in the last 10, 15 years that having lockdowns in your school just becomes the norm? Just becomes the norm. What did we do to ourselves, guys? Literally, what did we do to ourselves? We all know the culprits. We all know the people who are guilty. We all know we all know the dynamics of what's happening. But you can't say anything. So just Demery Gen X is saying, what the fuck do we do? It's wild. I fear for our kids. I do as well, guys. I do as well. But look, ladies and gentlemen, all right, be under no illusion. If you are 16 or under right now, believe me, you are the golden generation. And all other generations right now need to protect and nurture that generation. Because, guys, honestly, they are going to grow up and they are like, can you imagine how strong of a character you're going to have to be growing up through all this? And then global conflicts, conscription, wars, civil wars, all this stuff. And when they're 40, they are going to build such a strong, beautiful world. Their children will be the next boomers. But yeah, it's a crazy thing, guys. It is a crazy thing. 2 in secondary school who did lockdown training and 2 in primary school who haven't got a clue. That's the thing, guys. You know, primary school kids. I mean, how do I talk about this? How do I talk about this? I never thought I'd see the day where somebody attacked children. It's happened now. It's happened. Not only has it happened in the UK, there's been copycats stopped. So it's not an isolated incident. It's not an isolated incident. It's going to happen again, I would say. I'm struggling to even think about that, guys. I'm struggling to even think about that. April is saying, we have had the drill since 2017. It's normal to have a lockdown drill for me. I guess it's the new world. Weasel on Diesel is saying, I'll say it again, Sean. Sorry, Weasel on Diesel. When all the chats are open, it's really difficult for me to get everybody's comments. So I do apologize, Weasel on Diesel. Weasel on Diesel is saying, good evening, Sean. Check Lisa Jane's previous comments. Right. Right. Lisa Jane. Lisa. Where is she? I'm just scrolling up. I can't find it. Hang on. Would it? I will look at immigration. Is that it? I will look at immigration protest. Lisa Jane, can you do your comment again? Because I don't think I can find it. I've gone past it. Oh, hi. Hang on. Sean, people are reconsidering going to the 13th of September protest. If people are reconsidering. I personally think that all gatherings, all mass gatherings are going to be a target. They are, guys. All mass gatherings are going to be a target. Look at equally, what I will say is, I think the big obvious, it's not always the big obvious ones. There's lots of these targets, lots of potential targets, if you think about the Ariana Grande concert in Manchester, mass gathering, mass people, they found a weak spot, and the weak spot was when the people were coming out of that concert. Plenty of people there, plenty of collateral. When we talk about these big events, I do think the big events are massively policed. However, if you want to do a spectacular, like a 9/11 type attack, that, you know, I can't see a better place. Well, no, I can't see a better place than time. Louise, R. Louise, I think. R. Louise, hello, R. Louise, is saying, I work in a school. My kid's school is 3 minutes away. From what I struggle to think of, from that, I struggle to think about it. Yeah, it's crazy, guys. Listen, look, guys, I know more than most. I've certainly seen more than most. And some of the things that, like, I can't talk about now, it genuinely keeps you up at night. It keeps you up at night. If you knew how close people genuinely were all the time to things going bad, and behind the scenes, you know, look, guys, I'll be quite clear. I'm pro-military, pro-police, pro-government, pro-laws. You know, I've worked in those spheres, and behind the scenes, there's good people, really good people, selfless people, working behind the scenes as hard as they can to stop things happening. You know, it's like that they'd be like, I don't know, juggling with one hand and then juggling eggs with that hand, bouncing something on their head, kicking a ball up on that one, and then somebody else is giving them another task load, and they're like, yeah, I got this. You know, it's literally what it's like behind the scenes in security work. And right now, the amount of people that that the government and the security services are trying to watch, it's unbelievable. So what you have to do, you have to prioritize. You have to say, right, okay, we have got, I don't know, 40,000 people who are on this watch list. Okay, right. Of that 40,000, maybe, I don't know, 10,000 need surveillance 24 hours. Okay, what kind of surveillance? Right, we can only watch 5,000. So then you have to start, you have to start working around and trying to, like, I'm not going to tell you some of the methods that people use, but then you have to start really doing asset management, and it becomes really difficult. Jake Ify on YouTube is saying schools need to have security anyway, regardless of maternal sex. Who's going to pay for that? Security is expensive, and you either do security or you don't. When people come up to me and they say, Sean, I want to up-level my security, I say, right, okay, how much money are you willing to spend? Because to do security right, it's really expensive. And most times I will tell people, look, put some cameras up and don't bother. And on that bombshell, guys, if you want to get some cameras, we've got some good cameras on our showcase on TikTok. Lisa Jane is saying they're all taking note of the government's tender release and talking about it today on this law. Prepare for mass deaths. Guys, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. A mass casualty event of that size and scale, that's not, let me just try and do some, let me ask AI. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to ask AI. With all taking, I'm going to ask Grok, actually. Grok gives a better answer. Give me a second. Taking taking into consideration the hospitals and medical facilities in the United Kingdom, what is the estimated number of dead bodies that can be stored at one time? Wow, he's giving me an answer. Right, it's giving me a massive thing, so I'm just asking him to simplify and just give me a, whoa. This does not make any sense. Right, okay, so Grok is estimating, guys. So we're talking about this mass, mass fatalities, mass casualties. So Grok is estimating that the United Kingdom can hold 36,000 dead bodies at any one time. Now, that is all the hospitals all over the United Kingdom, all right? So I don't think that's the case. So why? So why? So I've just asked Grok, why did the government just buy extra body storage for 700 people? All right, okay. Right, okay. So what they're saying, right, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, okay, right, yeah. So what they're saying is, yeah, okay. So what they're saying is, if yeah, it makes sense. So what I've come to the conclusion, it's not the area, it's not the UK in total. This would be if there was an event somewhere, I don't know, Manchester, for example. If there was a mass event in Manchester, that would overwhelm the hospitals in Manchester, and that's when you would need the extra body storage. Just the fact that we're saying these things, guys, you know, where are the days? Where are the days gone? And when are the days coming, ladies and gentlemen, when I can come on these live streams and I can talk about space exploration, I can talk about aliens, I can talk about putting a colony on Mars, putting a colony on the moon, I can talk about, you know, new technology to go up to asteroids and mine the gold, new technology to go and put solar panels around the sun. When can we talk about that, guys? Like, when's that going to be in the, you know, when's that going to be in the news again? Call of Duty is saying, so 80,000 plus the 36,000 that we can currently hold would be close to 100,000. I don't know, guys. Look, the numbers here are crazy. Maybe, just maybe, this is just a contingency. Maybe this is just a contingency, and somebody at government have said, listen, we don't actually have any contingency here in case one of the morgues get overwhelmed and they're like, oh, yeah, God, no, you're right, we don't. That, genuinely, guys, that could be the case here, and it could be getting blown out of proportion. However, when you look at things in the United Kingdom holistically, it kind of doesn't feel that way. You know, it doesn't feel that way. Ollie Edwards is saying, I bought the solar-powered light system and solar. I totally forgot this. Ollie Edwards is saying, I bought the solar. What's my mum got in this? What's my mum got in this rhyme? Ollie Edwards is saying, I bought the solar-powered light system and solar radios off your showcase. Really good bits of kit, but the gas stove and the water purification straw both broken. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Look, guy, Ollie, I don't. The ones we got, they were fine. It is what it is. You know, can you send it back to the? Can you send it back to the person who sent it? Yeah, I don't deal with any of those things, guys. I promote products that I think are good, and I do. You know, I don't think we did a lot. I don't think we did a gas stove though. Do you mean the wood stove? And certainly the water purification straw. I still use that now. It's really good. And then Call of Duty Vids is saying, it's funny because this didn't come up, though, throughout COVID times where we were meant to have mass deaths. What do we think, guys? What do we think? Like, because people don't talk about it anymore, do we? Like, you know, the thing that we're not allowed to talk about that happened between 2019 and 2020? Like, what do we think? Like, what do we think really happened there? What do we think really happened? I don't know. I've got no opinion on this, guys. Let me know what you think, because lots of conflicting opinions. Leanne is saying, scary times like end of days in Isaiah 24. Yeah, there's lots of biblical prophecy at the moment, guys. And like, in my head, thinking about things logically, I'm like, right, okay. in my head, I'm thinking, right, there's two options here. Either this asteroid that's on its way in 2029 is wormwood and it's coming and we're all going to have a bad day. Maybe that's coming. Maybe that's true. Maybe we are going to have the second coming. Maybe the third temple is going to be built. Maybe this red heifer stuff. Maybe it's all true. Or maybe people are pushing that narrative because they think we will think it's biblical prophecy. Maybe people are thinking, oh, we need to build a third temple. Oh, look, there's an asteroid coming. Let's pretend it's this. I don't know, guys. I'm genuinely, I'm just skeptical about everything, guys. Okay, James Brooke is saying, I wouldn't be surprised if European leaders are preparing to fight Russia with Putin and Trump. It's easier to understand them. Put multiple European leaders, it's virtually impossible. Yeah, it is. This is like, I think like not yet, like a couple of nights ago, I did a live stream and I was comparing. I was doing a side by side. I've certainly drank too much of this wine, guy. I'm slurring my words. Let me finish it. Oh, what's my mum put in that? But like a couple of nights ago, I did. Go check the video out, guys. Okay, a couple of nights ago, I did like a side by side walkthrough. It was like a long video, maybe like an hour and a half or something. In short, because of the reasons that James saying here, that the European, like lots of European leaders, very difficult to organize, very difficult for command and control. If there's lots of leaders, very difficult to control. What I said is, what I'm seeing right now as today is guys, it's a Russian win. It is a Russian win. And that's because the reasons that James is saying. Lots of European leaders, Chinese parliament, nobody knows what's happening. Everybody's got their own agendas that are slightly different. There's no command structure. And without that command structure, without that person saying, yes, this is what we're going to do. Like, can you imagine, for example, if it came to a situation whereby, I don't know, Emmanuel Macron ended up being in charge of the whole war effort. Just go with me, guys. Do you know what, Zelensky? Let's say Zelensky's in charge of, let's go with Macron. You'll understand where I'm going. Let's say Macron is in charge of this whole war effort now. He's the man. He just happens to fall into that place and he's the leader. Can you imagine if a tactical situation arises whereby he has to push in divisions of British troops, knowing that they're not coming back, knowing that those troops are not coming back? But he has to do that because of the strategic. Can you see the problems? The Russians don't have that problem because they're under one leadership, one direction, clear set of goals, one political direction. The European project, guys, it becomes very difficult and it becomes very difficult to navigate through. Lord of Langwitz is saying, no Western leaders have the balls to send in troops. Listen, if I was a Western leader, like, I'd be all over that, guys. Listen, guys, if I was a Western leader, Belarus would not. I'm not going to say that, guys. What I'm going to say is, Belarus is a country that Britain has never invaded. And if you guys know what I'm talking about, if you guys look at the map, if you guys want to Google this, in fact, you know what? I'll get it up for you. Let me get it up for you. There we are. Give me a second, guys. Right, where do I get that? Can I get that big? Right, so this is from Statista. Let me get the countries. Right, there we are. Right, let me share this. So this is from Statista, guys, all right? And as you can see there, there's only 22 countries that have never been invaded by Britain. So if you look at that map there, all the countries in blue, dark blue, are countries that Britain has invaded at some point. So the countries that have not been invaded by Britain are Andorra, Belarus, Bolivia, Burundi, Central African Republic, Chad, Congo Republic of, which is not a republic, Guatemala, Ivory Coast, Kazakhstan, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg. Nobody's ever attacked Luxembourg. Mali, Marshall Islands, Monaco, Mongolia, Paraguay, Sao Tome Prince, or whatever that's called, Sweden, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and Vatican City. Now, look, guys, I don't know about you. I think there's room for improvement. I'm only joking, guys. I'm only joking while I'm streaming online. If you know me in my personal opinion, if you know me in my personal life, you guys know exactly what I think. But yeah, so there we are, guys. Only 22 countries that the United Kingdom's never invaded. Oh, hang on. Mike Korea is saying, if it's not war, it's aliens. If it's aliens, if it's not aliens, it's asteroid. I'm going to need more prepping stuff without a doubt. Look, guys, this asteroid that's on its way, right? The 3i Atlas. I don't want to say it's aliens, but it might be aliens. The thing is, this asteroid that's on its way, it started to emit light. If somebody can tell me how that's happened naturally, I'm all ears, guys. I'm all ears. I will debunk myself. But it's very difficult to try and and look, guys, I don't know if this is true. Maybe it's fake news. Maybe it's all propaganda. What's that guy's name? Corbell. What's his name? Corbell. He's like a UFO guy. He's got like a grey beard. What's his name? Somebody tell me. It's Jeremy Corbell. Jeremy Corbell. Like, I remember in January, that guy, Jeremy Corbell, he said that they're going to pretend that there's an alien invasion on its way. There's an alien fleet. And he said 100% that is the lie you're going to be told. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Is this the lie we're going to be told? Because what would make sense? What would make sense is, and look, guys, I'm literally just speculating with you guys now. We're just having a little chat, right? It would make sense that this asteroid that's on its way here now. So if you think about this asteroid that's coming now, it's going to come on its closest point. It's going to be like at the other side of the sun to Earth. So what you could see, so when it gets there, we can't see what's happening. We've got no chance of seeing what's happening. So what could happen is, if it was like an advanced probe or something set out in the future, like a pre-warning or an or an advanced party or a vanguard to a bigger invasion fleet, then the real invasion fleet was coming in April 2029. That would make sense. That would make sense, guys. All right. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if that's going to come out in the media. I'm just, guys, I'm just like, imagine we're sat in your front room. Imagine we're sat in your front room now, guys, having a glass of wine or something. So I don't know, guys. I don't know. Nick Knack. Sorry. I thought it was Nick Hack. Nick Knack is saying, I feel like we're on borrowed time. Yeah. Do you know what, Nick Knack? Are you small, Nick Knack? Nick Knack is saying, I feel like we are on borrowed time. We are being hit at all ends. I agree we are. In our country, across the pond, and now the ship's traveling towards Earth. I agree, Nick Knack. I agree. And, when I used to work for the big primes, when I used to work for Boeing, I didn't work for Boeing, guys. I was like a consultant. When I used to go and have these consultant meetings with Boeing, I always used to tell them what they wanted real quick. And I used to talk about aliens. And it was kind of like to my detriment, because honestly, guys, you think that these big companies like Boeing and stuff, you think that they're really technologically advanced. They're not. what they do, these big prime companies, they will see a smaller company with some, you know, promising technology. They'll just buy them. They'll just buy the company, buy each and every person, give the owner a couple $100,000 and say, right, you work for me now. And it's devastating, guys. It's devastating to see. The Calaz Info Warrior is saying, don't take any big pharma vaccines and pills if possible. Carolina Ritchie is saying, I still don't buy into it. I think it's a big rock. Carolina Ritchie, I was with you 100%. I was. So we're talking now about the asteroid that's on its way here, guys, all right? Until I found out that it was emitting light, I was with you, Carolina Ritchie, 100%. Now, I still don't know what this is, but Carolina, if you can tell me how something in space emits light other than a star, if you can, do you know, let's ask Grok. We've got Grok open. Let's ask Grok. Grok. How do you have to spell that? Does Grok, how does so I've just asked Grok, how does light naturally emit in space, not a star? Okay, so there are a couple of options here, guys. You've got gas and dust. No, he's talking about, right, okay. Visible, focus on, sorry. Okay, so the light spectrum is massive, guys. I'm talking about visible light. Sorry, guys. So Grok's talking about radiation and different types of light. What I want to talk about is specifically is visible light. Right, so we've got nothing. We've got nothing. We've got one potential. Okay, so what we've got is so this asteroid that's on its way here, guys. All right, we don't know what it is. I certainly don't know what it is. My telescope is nowhere near big enough to see what it is. Apparently, we have this this like thing that's on its way here. It started to emit light. All right, so I don't know what the cause of this light is, and I'm very suspicious about it. But what I will say is I've just asked Grok, and I'll just give you the answer, okay? Visible light is a proportion of electromagnetic spectrum that human eyes can perceive. Wavelengths ranging from 400 to 700 nanometers. It spans colors from violet to, the colors of rainbow, basically. In space, outside of stars, visible light is emitted naturally through processes like nebula. Ionized gases release visible light when electrons transition energy levels, often producing vivid colors like red and green. Well, that can't happen, guys, because that would mean you need electrons. Maybe he's producing electrons. I don't know. Auroras. So auroras are charged particles. Again, it can't be an aurora because it's too far away from the sun for those particles to hit it. Reflective scattering. Starlight scatters off dust. No, that's not producing light. None of those are producing light. But how? I'm just putting, but how would something produce a star, produce light? Yeah, nothing really. They're talking about radiation, chemical nuclear reactions. Oh, less commonly, a chemical reaction in comets. Oh, hang on, this could be it. So chemical or nuclear reaction. Less commonly, chemical reactions in comets, i.e. fluorescence of carbon-based molecules or radioactive decay in interstellar clouds, can release visible photons when energized by ultraviolet light or cosmic rays. So that could be it. Anyway, guys, look, it's strange, it's peculiar. I don't know what it is. It is very strange. You know, there's a lot of people talking about biblical prophecy. There's a lot of people, me included, very worried about this asteroid that is coming in 2029. Friday the 13th of April 2029, guys. It comes past close to Earth, underneath satellites. So you know those things that circle around Earth? Yeah, the satellite, the asteroid that's coming in 2029 goes underneath our satellites. Crazy times, guys. But don't worry. Don't worry, because the government said it's safe. Look, guys, the crux of this video, the crux of this live stream is, it's a warning, guys, right? There is critical events coming to the United Kingdom. The government are planning for these. Maybe the governments are planning for an alien strike or something. The governments are planning for this. Remember what I've always said, go back through all my videos. I always say, don't look what people are saying. Look where they're spending their money. And they're spending their money on on mass events. I gave you guys a little bit of an update on the Middle East. The Middle East is going bonkers right now, guys. But what I think people fail to understand is the Middle East right now, it's all about Iran. Iran's influence in the Middle East, they're seeing it waning as the Saudi Arabians look to, well, not the Saudi Arabians, as the Saudi Arabians, the Jordanians, and the Israelis want to open up a land corridor. If they open that land corridor, that is going to take out the any Iranian influence in that region. And that's why I believe, anyway, a lot of these things have been happening. And on this final bombshell, guys, oh, in fact, I've got two, actually. Knick-Knack is saying... Knick-Knack is saying the alien invasion is to create fear so people can have more control. Carolina Ritchie is saying temperature and speed also come into it when ionized particles are scattered. Do you know what? Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. The Kalaz Info Warrior said, if there's aliens, it'll probably be like what David Icke said, interdimensional, and they don't need spaceship to take over human bodies. Yeah, guys, look, that is a totally different live stream. I've always, look, that is a huge topic. That's a huge topic. I don't want to touch on it now, but yeah, I agree. A lot of language saying chemical reaction, the makeup is more than likely be ice. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to go now. Remember, tomorrow I'm going to be back on at 8, and I'm going to give you guys what I would do if I got that message, your school is in lockdown. We're going to be talking about that tomorrow, guys. I want to do a dedicated live stream for that. I'm going to close this down now. How long have we been on? 1 hour 32. I've been on 1 hour 32. I need to tie my shoe, and I will see you tomorrow, guys. I'll be back on at 10 in the morning, guys, and I'll see you later.